Hey everybody, I'm just sending out. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today. I forgot I had something scheduled at 11. But anyway, all right, Alex, what's your questions while I'm just texting everybody and making sure everyone knows we're here?
Uh, I just gotta find the leads, right? That's all, right? On the information you had gave me.
Yeah, all right. So I'm going to cover today, and I'm trying to get better at this. So make sure we're explaining everything to
All right.
everybody. And I'm just going to. There's a bunch of different ways that we're providing leads. I'm just texting the different groups of people. I got to
All right.
There's a lot of housekeeping stuff I got to do, but all right. Anyway, so there's a few different ways to get going on getting leads. So we have within batch leads, you can log into batch leads. I'm going to show this to you live today. And I will not show you how to generate leads on batch leads because honestly, I'm not that good at it, and their training is a lot better. So that portion of the fraction of the stuff, I'm going to let them train. I'll link their training or something. But and I'm just checking on one other thing that because I'm just getting to the office today. See if anything else is urgently in fire. All right, so I'm going to take this live. So this okay. So first of all, batch leads is great for a lot of reasons. One of which is when we get leads in, we're going to start loading them into batch leads as a list because we already pay for a bunch of different lead sources. So yes, we really want you guys to generate your own leads, but as you're learning that skill set, we want to make sure you have stuff to call and be doing. And always these videos are much better on the computer than they are any kind of phone because everything on the screen is tiny. So I'm going to make it as big as I can for everybody. But under this section, my lists within batch leads, and I'm not going to dial because I don't want to disturb people when and we have to be a little careful about or very careful about not pissing people off because even though this is designed to be a cold outbound software, we don't want them reporting us as a company for being harassing or annoying or any of that stuff. It's a gray area with robocalls or cold calling. It's supposed to be opt-in, but sometimes it's okay. We're not selling something, we're trying to buy something. So, you know, they can get pissy with us, but they can't necessarily do anything to us. But we just don't want to disrupt anybody. If they're not interested, they're not interested. We're also adding ringless voicemail to the equation. We're also adding LLC skip tracing to the equation. What we can do. And by the way, these things are costing us, a fair amount each month. So we're really hoping you guys make use of them. But within batch leads, which is the login everybody has, if there's a list of leads, like this is a list we generated a while ago, here's an address. And I'm not going to pick him because we already used him a couple times as examples. I'm just going to scroll down. It literally says click to dial now. You pick one of his several numbers and you hit call now, and the computer will start dialing. And if that doesn't go where you need to, if it goes to voicemail, anything but them actively answering and saying not interested or already listed or whatever, if they tell you no, then it's no. The whole list of numbers is no because you're calling on this specific property. Any kind of an active no is a no. Okay, that's just kind of the basic rule here. But you hit call now, it starts dialing. That one doesn't do it, you hang up, you can go to this number, you can go to that number, whether it goes to dead end or it goes to no answer. If no answer, you want to leave a number. You want to say a very polite message. We've given you a voicemail rough script. Who just texted me? So that is one thing you can do. The other way you can do it is you can, once you get them on the line, it'll come back to this screen. And then when you're on this screen, you can open the actual listing and you can look at the listing. you can say, hey, let me look at what the property information is. What are the details? Let me look at the pictures that Batch Leads has of this property. Now this one looks like it's probably a multi-unit. So this one would be a very interesting property. I mean, singles are interesting too, but, and this is Trojan Capital Management LLC. By the way, Batch Leads can sometimes skip trace companies. So if you're looking to skip trace companies, this is your first source of company skip trace resources. And you can also look at last time it sold. So this is usually if they've already engaged with you, because obviously why spend all this time doing this? But usually while it's dialing, I will pop over to this window and just kind of give myself a feeling for it. The picture's bombed out. Does it look functional? Blah, 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 while it's dialing. And if they answer, I'm ready. Last sale date, 2017. We learned what it sold for. So this is what they bought it for. Current owner bought it for this. So there's kind of a floor level to their expectation. Tax information, MLS, list, tags, foreclosure lien, owner profile. You can learn a lot of stuff on this page. You can do comparables. Comparables can be, you want to pick a comparable property. Is it a quadrex, duplex, quadrex, residential meaning single family. Residential income, single family, garden home. And you only care about active. You don't care. I'm sorry. You don't care about active. You only care that. You only care about sold. You don't care about active or pending. You only care about sold. I like last 6 months, especially in a volatile market like this. I like located within 5 miles. Fuck that. Half mile, 1 mile, half mile in suburban, maybe a mile in suburban, quarter mile to a half mile in any kind of city environment. Then you scroll down, and you can adjust all the rest of your filters. And now here are things that sold or that it has records of selling. Now we don't know in this property. We can guess it's a multi. We don't, we can look up. Now you can also Google the address, and I recommend you do that as well. This is if they've engaged with you. If there's a reason to do further research, you Google the address. And remember, when you're doing this, you're also adding it to the form. Even though, and you're not going to, if you're zipping through a bunch of no answers, you're not going to enter them all in the form. But once you engage with someone, you enter it in the form. And I was going to pull up the form there. So anyway, but yeah, so basically this is how you use Batch Leads. The reason I Google the address is to find out what else I can know about it. Like what I was looking for in that question is what property class is it? Because online it might say it's a duplex, it's a triplex, it's a quadruplex, it's a 6-unit. You might get more details. Right now what we know is it's 6 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I don't think it takes a rocket science just to know it's either a single family 6-bedroom, which is going to be very unusual, or it's a duplex because you only got 2 bathrooms. And I'm going to guess here. Okay, so I see one mailbox here, but I see a whole boop load of electric meters. So now that gets me wondering, because I don't think our 2-bathroom answer is correct. Because there's a crazy bunch of electric meters there. You should usually be seeing, the bedrooms might be wrong too, because you should usually be seeing the number of electric meters as there are units, plus 1 for landlord, basement, common areas, whatever. Or in older properties, the number of units that are in the building. They won't have a common meter. They should. They're legally required to, but they don't. So here you go. 9-unit building located in the heart of downtown offers 3 studio apartments with separate kitchens. Now, someone bought a 9-unit in 2017 for $170,000. I'm sorry, someone stole a 9-unit in 2017 for $150,000. That was an absolute steal they got. Like, absurd. It must have been a complete shit shape, even in for Allentown. But the point is, now we know it's a 9-unit. So now, when we're running our comps, we go to property class, and we're looking at the property class known as property, no, not property tax. So property class is residential and commercial is probably what I would search it as, because 9s technically are commercial, even if they're all bedroom, living spaces. This is an apartment house. Now we filter. And these are things that have sold. And here's the distance they sold from, and here's what they sold for. So you scroll over. $694,000, $640,000. Now we know the bedrooms, bathrooms aren't always accurate. So sometimes it's worth opening up that particular property. And again, this is if they're engaging with you. Wow. Kind of a good looking building. Maybe, I guess that's sun, not paint issues, but whatever. That's a reasonable comp. We see 6 bedroom, 6 bathroom. We look this up to see if it's real, a 6-unit, because the last one obviously was wrong. And again, this is part of your comping process. This is not part of your calling process. And you hop over and you pull up the listing. Let's see what Zillow and everybody else says about it. First of all, it shows an entirely freaking different property. It says it's a 7-unit building. And so this is part of your comping process, not your calling process. So this is how you use batch leads to make calls. We are also sending you, and you can enter them into batch leads if you want to use the batch leads dialer, which eventually we're going to have that be the standard, but right now we're not. You're getting the real estate bees leads and a few other sources of leads. So you're getting a lot of that stuff as well. We are also spending $7,000 to purchase every residential multifamily, whatever, in all of Luzerne County, Pennsylvania. And these are a little bit more special than, and before we leave batch leads, you can look up how to use batch leads to actually source your new leads. So just don't forget that. I'm not training on that because I'm not that experienced with it. And also batch leads videos are awesome. They're a great company for that. Any questions, reach out to me. I will help you. I will figure it out. We'll do it together. But their training is good. Then we're buying AI enhanced leads. Now the motivators when you're searching your own leads, I love non-owner occupied, absentee, out-of-state owner. That is my go-to for everything. Not that I don't like owner-occupieds. I do those as well. But I like the ones where they don't have an emotional connection. Although I do owner-occupieds as well, because things people are in and they're underwater on, they're having trouble with, are also great. So it's not don't do owner-occupieds, not don't do lived-in. They don't have to be vacant. These are just some ideas to play with. Multifamily, single family, we do have the whole list of self-storage we can dump in here too. If you want to call self-storage, we can use it here. Use the dialer. But anyway, everything else is sort of becomes a experiment with it. Try pre-foreclosures, try, probates, whatever. Try some of the other ones. But, and sometimes it's a matter of filtering locations. And we can get deeper into filtering. The other leads that we're buying, but just sort of right now, I don't want to steer you away from owner occupieds, but usually we've had the most luck with things where people are not living there. What you don't want, and I want to be real repetitive about this, is you don't want, this one's a rental ad that someone's, well, I guess not anymore, but somebody was actively advertising. If it's on Zillow as an active for sale, if it's on Facebook Marketplace as an active for sale, if it's on something else, as an active for sale, Craigslist. Chances of that becoming a wholesale are very slim. And I'm going to pull up Facebook and I'm going to show you why. If it'll let me do Marketplace. Sometimes it gets weird. Oh, because I'm on my business account. Anyway, on Facebook, and for some reason on my Facebook, Marketplace is sometimes visible in some places, sometimes not. Okay, so here it's visible. Cool. Search Marketplace. House for sale. Whatever. So there's a couple things we know about a Facebook for sale ad. The most important thing is it's for sale on Facebook, which pick any of these, it won't matter. But the one thing we know is the world has seen this listing for $35,000. Now, what I love about this ad is that its picture is a phone screenshot of Google Maps. The only thing this person who's posting this ad has done is gone to Google. They haven't gone to the house. Okay, so right there, it's red flagging me as being very likely to be a wholesaler. Because if you own the house, you probably would go to it. Maybe not, but whatever. But second thing is, the most important thing we know, the first thing we know is the world's already seen it at $35,000. So if the world has already seen this at $35,000, we can't bring it back to market anywhere near $35,000. They probably already heard 30,000, 25,000. Hell, looking at this piece of crap, they probably heard 2,000, but whatever. So we're going to have to get it at a price where we can bring it back at 2, 3, 4, maybe not 2, 3, 4, maybe we're going to bring it back on the market at 20,000. And I may be overstating that drop, but and let's go with something a little more reasonable. Now, the other thing is, if you're on so number one, Facebook Marketplace is how do I say this? The first thing is that it's already advertised. The world's already seen it. Second of all, you read the description. Immediately you know this description is probably a professional. It is not, hi, I'm trying to sell my home in Stillwater. It is not, my family has moved on. It's not reading like a normal individual, civilian, amateur, whatever you want to call it, wrote it. Fixer-upper opportunity. They talk about seller financing. These are not terms regular people know. The daycare worker that owns this house doesn't know what a seller financing is. Now, I will also call out this complete stupidity here. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this? Asking price of $79,000, owner financing available for $40,000 more. So if you pay me $40,000 over what I'm asking, and you give me 30 grand, I'll let you have it for $120,000. They clearly, not only are they supposedly a professional, now this may show that they're not a professional. This may show that they're an amateur who's just, playing with ChatGPT or something. But again, same problem here. We have, and I'm not even looking at comps. There's something for $79,000. So we can't market it back at $79,000. And I don't know Stillwater well enough to do what its values would be. But also, someone's gone through here and taken pictures. And I can tell you guys, having seen a million of these, even though taking pictures of houses is not rocket science, someone's done a thorough job of photographing, which is rarely going to be the case. Holy crap, that's the lowest tub I've ever seen in my life. You are never taking a shower here. Which is okay, then, got a tub. But homeowners usually aren't that thorough in their pictures. Be nice if they were, but hell, realtors usually aren't that thorough in their pictures. So really anything here is really not going to be likely a wholesale. Now, you other folks who are getting your licenses or have your licenses, these could be markets for you, because the distinction between a licensee and a wholesaler is a wholesaler wants to make a spread. First of all, a wholesaler wants to make a spread. So a wholesaler, if it's been marketed at 225, like this one, and by the way, you can tell from this picture, it's probably a half double because they're only showing half the building. If they were showing the whole building, then okay, fine. Then probably it's the whole building. Now, again, we look at the writing. Don't miss out on this extra large house for sale. Close to interstate for that commute. It could be ChatGPT, and this is where ChatGPT screws us up because we can't tell anymore. But is it a professional? And then you always want to look for anything like, okay, who is Chris? If you're going to go after Facebook marketplaces, who is Chris Bauserman? I feel like I know the guy. He's from Kansas City, Colorado, so he's not in the area. So again, I feel like it's probably a wholesaler, but it could be an owner. But this is back to where I was going, is this could be a call. Okay, let's assume that Chris is the owner out of the area. This is a call possibly for a wholesaler, but definitely for a licensee. Will, Anthony, guys, Stephanie, this would be a call for you. Jamar, Ryan, this could be a call for you guys, because we're going to get, as licensees, we can bring it right on the market at the 225 he had it at. Put it right on the MLS. So we're bringing to him the ability to put it on the MLS. That's what we're bringing as a service to him. So we're going to take 3-6%, whatever, of the sale at his price. So we don't need to bring it back at a lower price. We're offering a marketing service. And this other house is just interesting that this guy leads off with a video. Very good tool, by the way. Does not have to be people like edited, they're fun, but this is totally acceptable. You're getting to see the whole house. But basically, if you're a listing agent, you're a licensed agent, then yes, absolutely, you can go call on these. Do I think they're the greatest leads? I think for a licensed agent, they're equivalent to every other lead, because actually this one's kind of interesting to me because it's clearly somebody's half-done flip. They started the game and didn't finish it. But anyway, so that's that topic. We then have these other leads that we bought and paid for. You're getting batch leads. Ryan's been, I think, getting these out to you guys. And please, if you haven't scheduled time with Ryan, please do so. We then have these AI leads that we're buying, which I'm co-buying with a friend of mine, so I don't know precisely what the... So this is a software that a major wholesaler that he works with utilizes. So it's not her service, it's a third-party service. And what they do is they take the pinch points, the motivators, non-owner occupied, whatever. And they add an AI level to it. Just want to make sure my wheels won't roll over that. They add an AI level to it to do a little more predictive prospecting, I guess. So hopefully these are more valuable leads. So that's another batch of leads. But again, guys, definitely start doing, online posting, your postcards, you're this, you're that, you're the other thing. Talk to me, bandit signs. Bandit signs are great because bandit signs are easy. Yeah, you spend a little bit up front on bandit signs, and then you pretty much walk around your neighborhood, and I will show you how to make the hammer. And it sounds weird to say make the hammer. What you're basically doing is you're using a rubber Fernco little adapter thing from Home Depot to adapt pipes to put the hammer at the end of a 2-foot piece of PVC pipe and a little thing. I'll have to look up a picture of mine. So you have a PVC pipe, little thing to hold the sign, and then the hammer, so that you can get that sign up higher than you can reach. It's really kind of an extension on telephone poles. Whatever. You should be starting your own prospecting, posting, mailings, whatever you want. But these are a good way to get you started. So really, you have a lot of opportunities with the leads. We've already been sending you batch leads. You already have these leads here. We've already been sending you batch leads. We've already been sending you real estate bees and other leads. And now we have this newer fleet of leads. So anyway, so that's kind of a bunch of different ways to prospect. And that is number one, what we need. What we need is to be getting on the phone with sellers. And when you're going on the phone with sellers, please, it is a great idea. Whoops. To have batch leads open. To, if they get on the phone, enter their property address in batch leads. And if it doesn't come up, open it in Zillow. Have some if you get them on the line, throw their address in something. Be able to look at their house. Now, here's what you definitely want to not do. Again, this is not just for wholesalers, this is everybody. If it says listed, it says for sale by owner, different. Again, we go back to the wholesalers and not wanting things for sale by owner that are listed or marketed. But if this would say, so now this is off market, but the last information came from a listing by James Francois and Denise Francois. But if it was active for them, you're done. You got no conversation. You're an agent, you're not an agent, you got no conversation. Unless you have a buyer that wants that deal. If you have a buyer that wants that deal, you have an active conversation. You have a possibility of an active conversation. So in any case, that's the deal. But basically, if it's listed, you're done. If it's for sale by owner and you're a wholesaler, forget it. If it's with a wholesaler, forget it. Now, we've had one of the guys on the team bring a few deals, and there's nothing wrong with this. This is learning curve, where they're talking to someone that identifies themselves as the seller. And Anthony, or rather Alex, remind me, we have to get back to that New Jersey one. Now that the storm's over, we can find out. I mean, we don't know where to go on it. I don't know that we have anywhere to go on it, but I want to JV with that wholesaler, and I want to circle back and talk to that seller and see if she wants to do anything. Because the wholesaler, I think, needs help, and I think she's good. I think she has value. And I just honestly, guys, please stay on me, because sometimes I get so lost in the different bigger back end projects I'm trying to do, like the AI dialer and everything, that honestly, this is where I need you guys. I need you guys to say, either be on the phone with people or say, hey, Steve, we got to call this person. These are your leads as much as they are mine. Alex, you brought me Newark. Don't let it go away. It isn't you gave it to me and it's done. It's if you want the 50-50, if you want the bigger commissions, it's your lead. If you want any money, it's up to you to make sure it happens. Because I've just got so many different pieces going on that sometimes I do get lost. But if there's an active licensed agent on it, we're out of the picture. We cannot engage except through the agent. Now, if we had a buyer and but the agent's unlikely to give a wholesale agreement. They're just not likely to do it. for 1,000 reasons I can get into later. And truthfully, this property, I don't know if the owner of this. So there's lots of, and so also, by the way, on this one, whichever source told us this is now owned by an LLC, we'll be prying this thing out of that LLC's cold dead hands probably. But if they are going to want to sell it, they're going to want to sell it at a good price. But this would be a good call. This would be a very valuable call for someone. Now, is it going to go anywhere? Who knows? If I was an LLC owner and I bought this thing for $150,000 7 years ago, my grandchildren are selling this. This is cash flow for me. Because I bought it for 150, I probably put another 150 into it. And now I've got 9 units paying me rent. Fuck you, you're not getting it out of my hands. So those are a few things on how to prospect for deals. Other ways to prospect for deals are postcards, which we have postcards. We have postcards physically in my office. I can mail them to you. You can mail them. All you have to do is slap a label on it, slap a stamp on it, and maybe change the phone number to your phone number. Oh, that's all you have to do. We can help you design postcards. Bandit signs. Bandit signs are simple. Bandit signs and flyers. Those two things are drive-by mentality. Bandit signs literally are. You're putting them at street corners and on telephone poles. Lucy buys houses. Phone number. By the way, the guy behind Lucy's buys houses, his name is Martin. I don't think there's a Lucy in his family, but Lucy sounds like a cute girl's name. Everyone's going to talk to a cute girl. This kind of shit can matter. Stop foreclosure. We buy cash. Phone number. I've got some bandit signs, and again, I don't put them out, so you guys are welcome to them. Cash for houses, phone number, and this is probably the worst Spanish in the world, Casa Dinero. I did not do a good job translating that, but I had them printed anyway. Cash for houses, phone number, cash houses in Spanish. Boom. That's it. Someone can, when they're going 30 miles an hour down the road, instantly know, oh, cash houses. Okay, good. Design is nice, whatever was nice. But bandit signs, and to a lesser extent, flyers. Like, don't pack a flyer with a lot of content. Big, bold. I'm walking in the supermarket. I see the flyer stuck on the bulletin board. Cash for houses, phone number. And then in littler but still big letters, we buy houses in any condition, no fee, whatever. Phone number, email, website, whatever. Those things are quickies. Because someone's not looking to read you. They're doing something else and you're trying to catch them. That's why I love these billboards that either have lots of information on them and I'm going 65 miles down the highway. I'm not reading that thing. If I did, I'd crash. Or the other end of it is, I saw one yesterday in Scranton. It was like, it made me laugh. It was for an aesthetics, some sort of beauty company. And I cannot tell you what they were. It was some not American basic name, beautiful woman's name, but cannot remember what it was. Name, aesthetics, phone number in the tiniest, thinnest print, the least contrasting color they could possibly have done, and a picture of a woman who looked both Botoxed and airbrushed. And all I could think is, first of all, it took me 5 minutes to figure out the spelling or the saying of her name. There was nothing memorable there. And something aesthetics, I had to search while I'm driving for the phone number. And no offense, and she had another billboard further down the road that had a lot of women on it. But no offense, but none of them were particularly, they all look like beautiful middle-aged women rescuing their beauty, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, but none of it was like, oh my God, I want my wife to look like that. It was, oh my God, they did an amazing job with an airbrush, or an amazing job with Botox, or actually in their case, not amazing job with Botox. It really was not a phenomenal job. But the design of it was a lot of things wrong trying to catch, it caught my attention. It was a big red background. It had her name in little letters, aesthetics in in big letters, aesthetics in smaller letters, and her face. I saw it. I couldn't miss it. I had to search for the phone number. Like, you have to make it brainless when you're doing bandit signs, billboards, simple. You know, the clog father plumbing repair phone number. I mean, that's what you're going for in these kinds of things. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. Any questions, Alex? I know you had some stuff you wanted to talk about. We got plenty of time. No? Okay. All right. So let me switch gears then. We are going to be over the next 2 weeks getting a lot more organized in our software and our calling and our documentation. But really, the biggest thing I need everyone to do is focus on getting in conversation with leads. Alex, I can't even tell you still there. If you got any questions, go ahead and shout out. But really, that is job one. And this is a good time of year. This is a time when Christmas is over, snowstorm's over, real world is coming, tax time is coming. This is there's lots of good times, but this is one of the good times to reach out to people. And really, what you're looking for is you're looking for that person in the wholesale side that has a motivation to sell, and that has that need, that whatever, to be moving their property. That is where you guys need to be focused. Once you catch the fish, we'll show you how to cook it. We'll show you how to prepare it. Once you get that person interested in talking, especially if you can collect some basic information. That's your job. I mean, again, I mean, there's lots of other stuff. And if there's something about that isn't fitting for you, let me know and we'll find something else. Now, also remember, we can make you money in debt service coverage ratio lending. You find somebody who wants to borrow money, whatever, we can make you money there. Oh, poopy. Sorry, I was looking at something else and I realized it. I just dumped all the files off my computer and I needed to send a file to somebody, and I'm like, oh crap, that file's at home. Because I dumped it to my backup drive at home. So any questions? All right. I guess at that point, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today, was sort of how you would do that and how you would use the dialer on batch leads. And please, guys, use this stuff. I've got a lot of softwares out there that I'm paying for. Also, we have the land technology. Don't forget, we have the land operating system, and I may even be upgrading that package. We have the self-storage category. We have a lot of different categories of toolkits that are basically we have a lot of different categories of toolkits and so forth. So basically let's call me with any questions, I guess. All right. Going once? Anything else? All right, guys, call me if you need anything. I definitely want to get you guys going, but there's a lot of tools here. Please start using them. We're here 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, around 11:30. I try to be precise, but sometimes I'm a little late. Anything else, feel free to text me or call me. And always, all of these are immediately on the YouTube channel. You don't know where to find something, but it's in the spreadsheet. You don't have the spreadsheet, you should by now. Whatever, let us know. And I'm begging you, get with Ryan for live one-on-ones. All right? Thanks. All right, bye. Thanks.